Tony Katz is on the line with us, conservative commentator, host of Tony Katz Tonight on the radio, contributor to townhall.com. Tony Katz, KATZ.com is his website. Hey, Tony, welcome back to the program.
It's a pleasure to be with you. It's good to be back. It's been a while.
So today is Fast Food Thursday. We've got all these fast food workers all across the country saying, you know, roughly half of us are trying to raise a family out here, and you can't do that on $9 an hour. And we would like to make, you know, at least 10 or 11, maybe. 15 would be nice, but we'd settle for 10 or 11. And you're saying these people are thugs?
No. In no way am I saying that the employees are thugs. I've never actually said that in my life.
I thought your headline was Fast Food Thursday because big labor bullies need a beatdown.
Yes, it's big labor. That's the key problem, and that's the subject. The subject is not the workers. There are a lot of people working in fast food for a lot of reasons. Some of them are getting the skills that they need to get better jobs. That'll be better paying jobs. Oh, yeah. Some of them,
we really need to know how to fry French fries to get a better job.
No. It's about showing up on time. It's about how you deal with the public. There are a lot of things that are learned in these industries. Let's not discount
by 28-year-olds.
Tom, let's not.
The average age of a fast food worker in America, Tony, is 28.
Tom,
of course I'm not.
Tom. Wait, you want to? Let's talk about then the third group of employees, which are those who are victims of the Obama economy. That's just fact, and I'm glad you were bringing it up. Thank you.
32 years of Reaganomics has ripped the guts out of this country. I'm with you, Tony.
That's an unfair
32 years of Reaganomics.
You're pivoting, and I need you to focus on the subject. Big labor is putting together these strikes based on the myth of the living wage in order to get union dues. This is about big labor getting money, SEIU and AFSCME and others getting money. This isn't about caring about the worker. I can't believe.
Okay, let's assume, Tony, for a moment.
Very bad for them
Tony,
for getting dues.
let's assume you're right.
Okay?
Let's assume you're right. Let's just stipulate, for the purposes of this conversation, for at least the next 3 or 4 minutes, that Tony is right, that SEIU and AFSCME and the whatever unions are involved, and I have no idea which ones they are, or who they are, or whatever, that they want to get members, and they want to get members because members pay dues. Right. Who are the stockholders in those unions? Now, I realize, you know, when Mitt Romney takes over a company, he gets to put $1 billion in his back pocket. But I thought labor unions were nonprofit, democratic, small d, democratic institutions. They were democracies. They were run by their members, that the way the money is spent, every last penny of the way that the money is spent in a union has to be agreed upon by more than 51% of the members, and that if anybody disagrees with this, any expenditure used for political purposes, the union has to refund that money to them. This is federal law. I don't understand why it's a bad thing that a democratic institution is in the workplace, particularly under these circumstances.
I would say to you, in maybe in 2 parts, maybe in more, and I think it's a very interesting comeback that you come with right there, especially the agreeing with me part, even though it's only going to be for a short window, that you talk about where this money goes, that they raise this money, and it goes specifically to candidates who then benefit a big labor position.
But if there are any laborers, if there are any workers in the union who do not want money, their union dues, to go to a political candidate, and they don't actually go to candidates, you know, they go to advocacy things.
I'm curious to see how many of those are actually instituted.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time. It's a major problem for unions. It's a major problem for unions.
Well, I'm always happy for a major problem for a union that doesn't actually treat people properly. I have no issue actually with unionizing. I do have an issue with the idea of trying to shame people into unionizing and using the myth of the living wage to do it. I mean, this whole idea that $15 an hour, I was stunned to hear you say $10 or $11 an hour, because that's you not holding on to the party line in this case. But why 15? Why not 20? Why not 50? Why not 100?
Because 20, 50, or 100 doesn't make any sense. 15. Let me just give you a couple of numbers here, Tony.
You say those others don't make sense and 15 doesn't make sense. Only the market makes sense. Thank you for proving the points.
The market makes sense if there was a market. But what we have is a rigged economy. It is an absolutely rigged economy.
No, I'm not going to disagree that we've got problems with the economy. I'm not going to disagree with that.
If we were to change our trade policies, if we were to repudiate the policies of Bill Clinton, which would make you happy, and the policies of Ronald Reagan, which would make me happy with regard to free trade, we would not have lost 50,000 factories since 2000, and probably 100,000 factories or more since Reagan's presidency, if we were to repudiate that, if we were to go back to some sort of rational, trade policies, if we were to go back to saying, after you're welcome to make $1 million a year, $2 million a year, $3 million a year, but after that $3 million a year, you're going to have to pay 74% income tax. In other words, if we roll back the Reagan tax cuts so that instead of CEOs just making 30 times what their workers make, $3 million instead of 30,000, that CEOs would say, I think I'll put that money back in the company. These are not red herrings. These are the core. No. This is the guts of an economy, Tony. You know this.
No, it's not. It's not acceptable to say that there's a cap. It's not acceptable to say that there's a limit. I don't see why that is.
I'm not saying there's a limit. There were people who were willing to pay 74% income tax.
No one should have to pay 74% income tax to their silent partner, the U.S. government. Nonsense.
How do you think they make that $3 million?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
Somebody who's making more than $3 million a year.
Right.
Okay. Are they not making that because all of the rest of us have provided them with consumers who actually know how to read the packaging of their product, with an educated labor force, with a court system that they can use to enforce their contracts with their suppliers and their buyers and their customers, with a telecommunications infrastructure that they can use to make sure that they get their products at the way that they need to, with a physical infrastructure that they can get their products to market? We are paying for all that. The more money they're making, the more they are using that infrastructure. In fact, more than 70% of our court system is used exclusively by business, but business only pays 11% of the total federal tax load in the United States. You and me, working stiffs, are paying for the court system that Mitt Romney is using to enforce his corporate scams. I'm simply saying the people, after they start making about $3 million a year, and the history shows this, because this is what it was from 1935 until 1986. When they're making over $3 million a year, they're using more of the commons. They should pay more.
Your argument presupposes that the people don't get any benefit, which I reject wholeheartedly. And secondly,
any benefit from what? They don't get any benefit from somebody making $7 million a year instead of $3 million a year?
You don't think that the people get benefit from others doing well? Or
I do not think the people get benefit from Mitt Romney having another $1 billion to put in a Swiss bank account. No, I don't.
I'm sorry. You keep going to Mitt Romney, but there are a lot of leftists out there with much more money than Mitt Romney.
I don't think the people benefit from George Soros having another $1 billion to put in a Swiss bank.
On your list? Kanye on your list? I mean, I'm just curious who's on your list. Barbara Streisand on your list? Susan Sarandon on your list?
I have sat in a room with George Soros, and I can tell you, he doesn't think that people benefit from him having another $1 billion to put in a Swiss bank, although he's perfectly willing to make it. But the fact of the matter is, he will tell you to your face, he would like to pay that 74% income tax.
He should.
He thinks he should.
He should write the check.
And so should Mitt Romney.
I reject that you can force people to do it, but I got to go back to this $3 million figure. I think it's fascinating. You're trying to give some kind of historical record to it. Why not $2 million? Isn't $2 million enough?
Well, at various times, if you look at the value of the dollar, it's wandered around between roughly, the CEO to average worker pay in the 1960s and the 1970s, prior to the Reagan administration, the average worker was making around $30,000 a year. The average CEO was making around $300,000. That was 30 to 1. Actually, that's 10 to 1.
This entire segment, I'm not quite sure what you said.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll have to do it again then.
We definitely will.
Tony Katz, TonyKatz.com is the website. Host of the Tony Katz Tonight program, contributor to townhall.com. Tony, thanks for dropping by.
Good to be with you.
Always good talking with you. We'll be back.